Welcome again to another episode of the Next Step Show Digital Transformation Series, where we help you and your business take that next step. I am Mohan Beckford, the Next Step Boss. Now, for this series, we'll be talking to an author, an entrepreneur, and someone who I have high regards for that can help you to take your idea into the next step of becoming an entrepreneur that is on the verge of greatness. Today we have with us Rowan Johnson, who is an author, an entrepreneur himself, and somebody who, as I said before, I have high regards for. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank
to the
you
Next
very
Step
much
Show.
for having me. Next Step Boss.
Yes. So, who is Rowan? Tell us a little bit about yourself so that the audience knows who you are.
Well, you said a little. I am an author of the self-help title, Find Your True Purpose, Words of Wisdom from college dropout turned author and entrepreneur. And that was inspired by my own journey, having left university to pursue my entrepreneurial ambitions and eventually finding myself along a path where, I'm writing and writing self-help books and also starting businesses. I'm currently the CEO of Amaru Business Development.
Right.
And it is, as the name suggests, a business development organization, BDO, that provides business development solutions to entrepreneurs. Business planning, strategic planning, business mentorship and coaching, entrepreneurial training, business registration, and trademark.
Great. So for all those persons out there who aspires to be an entrepreneur, they should be talking to you once they are the ideation phase, so on and so forth. Interesting stuff. Now, so there are a lot of persons out there. We have gotten a lot of questions from our audience in respect to, I have a business idea.
Sure.
I want to be an entrepreneur. What do I do next? What would you suggest to that person? Or what recommendation would you give to that person who have an idea and don't know what next to do?
All right. I would tell them to map that idea first. Do some planning. And don't just run off into creating a business plan, investing all that time and effort into preparing that document, because that could take you weeks and months. And by the time you're complete with the changing environment, or rapid the environment is changing, especially with the advent of technology, the market would have already left you. So it's best you to utilize a tool that's a bit more flexible, called the business model canvas. And that allows you to just map out the idea initially. And as you go along, test your assumptions and fine-tune it.
Okay, nice. So, I mean, would you then say it is important for every business to be registered?
It is important for businesses to be registered. For many, that represents the step towards making their ideas become a reality. Because it moved from you just playing games, so to speak, and fiddling with thoughts in your head to actually saying to the state or saying to the state that, I am now legally operating this business under this name, providing this product or service. In addition to that, when you register a business, it comes with a lot of benefits too. In terms of getting contracts, there are certain stores let's say, you can't get into unless you can show that you have a registered business.
Registered business, right.
Additionally, for persons who are applying for visas, and this is something that I found out, through the process, because Jamaicans, when you come to the American visa,
Right.
so I found out through the process, somebody was operating a business for a while, and they needed to show that the source of income was legitimate. And she was operating a legitimate business. Right. There was nothing to show that. Wow. So she came to me and she said, she needs to register a business to show the U.S. Embassy. So that's another. The other advantage too is the fact that you can benefit from grants. Right. You and I both know about the Development Bank of Jamaica's voucher for technical assistance, VTA, and you can access services valued up to $200,000. Right. That's a lot of money. $200,000. Right. Just simply by having a registered business. Definitely. So I mean, those three benefits alone, and there are more. It's impetus, I believe, for entrepreneurs to get their businesses registered.
If you have a business idea, you are an aspiring entrepreneur, it is advisable in order to take that next step. It is important for you to register your business because the benefit that comes with it is vast. And you want a situation where, as you explained, down the road, you need it, and it's best to have it and don't need it.
What I've also seen is people, they start operating again, right? And they decide that, all right, they're going to register the business now. And the name that they've been using and building that brand with, when they got to register, they realize it's already taken. Something similar to it already. I mean, that mash up enough people.
And importantly, from a digital perspective, where we are concerned as well, you would realize even the same domain name is very important as well. I know that there are a lot of persons out there who are gung-ho about the name that they want for their business, but it is important for them to go and do a search to ensure that the name is available, and to also do a search where domain name is concerned, because for SEO purposes it's important to have a domain name that is fitting for your business.
For sure. Even for social media tags, the Facebook and the Instagram.
Right.
I mean, how strange would it be for your company to be called, Beckford Water, and then on social media it called Water Becker or Water some other. You understand? So it's important once you kind of have made a decision on the name. And make it be a good name, because there's a lot in a name. I remember when I started my first business, the name I had was Examarca Cultural Group. I can't tell you where I got it from, and it was so hard to pronounce, and it was just a difficult, and it wasn't memorable.
Right.
I mean, so it
like Next Step Digital Salute.
Like Next Step, or even Amaru.
Amaru.
You understand? Because what Amaru means, is a place of transformation.
Nice.
You understand? Nice. And when I look at somebody registering the business, right? They're literally taking that next step.
Definitely.
As I said before, from moving from idea to actually doing the business, and that's what inspired our tagline as well. Turning ideas into business,
which is important. So, I mean, you have served many different clients.
Yes.
Where registration is concerned and all of that. So, what next after the business is registered? What would you say to an entrepreneur who took that next step to register the business? What next? After registering the business, is there anything that they need to be mindful of?
Yes, well, in terms of setting up and structuring the business, the registration is just one aspect. It's also recommended that you move forward and get your business bank accounts.
Right.
Because with the business accounts, you can separate the monies.
Right.
You can separate the business transactions from the personal transactions, and that's important when it comes to the tax filing.
Right.
You understand? You need to have proper accounts. That's what the tax man telling you. You need to keep proper records, proper accounts.
Right.
And not doing so doesn't excuse you from the implications, right, that come with filing incorrect returns.
Right, and then when you leave it up to interpretation, then they are going to interpret it more than what it is.
You understand?
So at the end of the day, it's important to organize yourself. There are a few persons who message us and ask us, do they need a business plan? What would you say to someone who is asking that question? I registered my business, I have an idea, do I need a business plan?
Our full disclosure, as I said, we offer that service, right? But even though we offer that service, we don't necessarily push it to clients.
Right.
Understand? As I shared earlier, the business plan, it takes time to develop. And,
Right.
and by the time you finish with that, the market may have already left you. It's important to plan, right? It is very important to plan, but in terms of creating that big document, at the initial stages, not so critical. Best to use a canvas.
Right. And you made a good point, because at the end of the day, most time entrepreneurs, when they get into the notion of the idea that they want to form as a business, along that way, what they wanted to do change.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, it's good to find your footing and know where you want to transition based on the feedback you're getting from customers, so on and so forth, before you do.
But the business plan, though, is important, you know. But generally, when we write business plans, it is for entrepreneurs who are about to seek funding, right?
Right.
That's what that is kind of necessary for. You
Definitely.
You need to show the banker, the lender, the financer, the investor that you have thought through the business, right? And you need to show that you have validated the business, and you can indicate within the business plan strategies to sustain the business in the long run, right? And you know, the cash flows and the other financial statements, the P&L, profit and loss, balance sheet, those things are important. So those will be included in the business plan. And when you can show some sort of historical data, and then within the plan indicate the strategies that will ensure that the funds, the cash flow that you're seeing remains on a positive path, then you know it makes it an attractive proposition for somebody seeking to lend monies, or invest money.
As I said before, there are a lot of persons out there who especially in this time where we have the pandemic causing economic crisis, persons now realize that they want a second stream of income, so on and so forth. But where I usually say to a lot of persons, it is important especially to pay your taxes and to sustain in order to sustain yourself, because at the end of the day, you can't get certain benefits if you are not regularized. I know that even the care package that was distributed, if you weren't registered, you wouldn't have benefited.
And if you weren't up to date with the taxes, if you weren't tax compliant, then you know you wouldn't have been eligible.
So from day one, entrepreneurs need to be mindful of their bookkeeping to ensure that those things are in place as well.
But I will admit, though, you know, that those matters, critical as they are challenging for entrepreneurs. Even myself, I'm an arts man, you know. You understand? Before I went into business, I was looking to become a lawyer. So I did history, I did literature, and those subjects. I didn't even too care much for the maths. You understand? It's only of a recent that you know I'm realizing the importance of learning the finances. Even if you're not doing it yourself, you need to understand the financials.
Numbers don't lie. I can tell you that much, and that's, I think that's my forte. That's where I evolve as an entrepreneur. I understand what it means by the numbers. You understand what I mean, and that helps to guide every decision that you make within your business, growing your business.
Certainly, but you know, I appreciate numbers, you know, because they themselves tell a story. You understand? If your balance sheet is in the red, you understand?
There's problem.
Yeah, there's problem.
And you'd be surprised. If you don't keep up to date with your bookkeeping, knowing your receipts, your spending, your income, your inflow and your outflow, you know you might be losing a lot from one end, and then because you're not able to identify that because you don't have everything in place, it can push you over the edge as an entrepreneur.
And you also, when you're mindful of the expenses or the expenditure, also the income, for the expenditure, sometimes you realize that there's a lot of a leakage, a lot of waste, a lot of money is spent on things that you probably could do without. Income, you can identify where you have the real streams, and then you can focus and channel resources towards those streams of income that are showing the greatest potential. Will benefit your bottom line.
Definitely. So once I register one time, that's it?
Yes, there's no need to re-register the business, but there's need to maintain it. If you've registered a limited liability company, then every year you have to file the annual returns. And the annual returns is just a document, makes the company's office aware of the information related to your company. So who the directors are, who are the shareholders.
Because those can change.
Yes, those can change over time.
Year.
And the company's office want to keep an up-to-date record of that information. Because the information there, the public can get access to it.
Definitely.
So if I am looking to probably do business with a company, I can go to the company's office and request the information. You understand? Through using that information, say for example, you're not up to date, and somebody trying to reach me, and they can't get me, I may have lost an opportunity or opportunities.
Right.
And then if you have a business name, which is a sole trader partnership, you have to renew the registration every 3 years.
Every 3 years.
So those are the main things.
There was a question that was asked by a customer about do I go do I register as a corporation or do I register as a sole trader from the get-go? How would you respond to that?
My response to that is often based on the risk profile of the business, right?
Explain that to us.
So the benefit with the limited liability company is that basically in the case of a lawsuit, then your personal assets wouldn't necessarily be
called into question.
You understand? It is the company's assets, because the concept of a limited liability company is that it is a legal person.
Right.
It's not a natural person like you and I say, but it is a legal person.
That can be sued.
And that can own assets and take on debt.
Right.
Just like me and you can go to the bank and borrow money. The company
can also do that.
Can also do that. And so that's the benefit with the LLC. But if you're in some high risk business and you kind of want to cover your back, you can register a company abroad and register a company here,
Right.
You understand? and make it very difficult for individuals to determine who is the actual owner.
Right.
But for the sole trader, you don't really have that sort of cover. But I mean, if you're doing a thing like you're selling popcorn or some plumbing service, not much risk related to that. Right. It all depends on the risk profile.
And not to stretch it too much, but can you transition from one to the next? Like if you start out by just being registered as a sole trader, which I believe is a little bit more cheaper.
Yeah, definitely.
To register, would I be able to transition into a limited liability company maybe a year or two after?
And very easily too. So that's the other benefit. When you have the sole trader, which is cheaper and simpler to manage, it allows you an opportunity to do the business, and you kind of operate and see if it works.
Right.
If it works and it grows and it becomes successful, and you say, then you can incorporate later. You understand?
Definitely.
And that's a very simple process.
We have covered a lot here. We spoke about once you have the idea, how do you move from the idea now? You say you do the business canvassing, not running into a full-fledged business plan. It is important for us to register our businesses, and once that is registered, there's the maintenance that you have to file annual returns with the company's office, so on and so forth. It is important to do your bookkeeping so you
Yes,
understand
yes.
where your business lies, so on and so forth. I mean, we can go on forever. There's a lot that can be covered, and I know that they can find you at Amaru Business Development. You know, you're on social media.
Yeah, Choose Amaru.
Choose Amaru.
Website is chooseamaru.com as well.
Definitely, definitely. And you know, they can always send us their messages and we will pass them off to you. But you know, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Next Step Show, Digital Transformation, where we help small businesses take their business to the next step. And we ask you to tune into the next episode. As far as now, we say like, share, and subscribe to the Next Step Show Digital Transformation YouTube channel. And I am Mohan Beckford, your Next Step boss. Until then, continue to take that next step in your business.
Digital transformation show. Ready? Next
You're not recording. You're not recording.
episode 3.
Wait. But this is the second one.
Go from episode 2. Take 1. Audio good?
Today we have with us Rowan Johnson. At the end of the day,